I set fires to feel joy.
And I'm Ashley McClintock. First, your top local stories. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel has rejected the Cubs' request to work around the clock on Wrigley Field renovations that have previously been delayed due to weather. The Chicago Sun-Times reported Tuesday construction crews are currently allowed to work every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. per city ordinance.
A former Schaumburg police officer, John Cici, is set to go on trial April 23rd. He is accused of running a drug ring with two other fellow officers back in January 2013. Officials say the three officers confiscated narcotics from drug dealers and then used a former police informant to sell the drugs, splitting the proceeds.
We have come a long way, and we have a little bit further to go.
We're still standing, we're still running, and we're gonna win.
A Chicago polling firm is calling the city's runoff campaign between Mayor Rahm Emanuel and challenger Jesus Chuy Garcia a dead heat. New numbers from Ogden and Fry show Garcia is within reach of Mayor Emanuel. The poll of 979 likely voters shows Emanuel had 42.9% support to Garcia's 38.5%. The margin of error was plus or minus 3.2%.
A 17-year-old boy was killed and a 23-year-old man was injured in a shooting Monday night in Chicago's South Deering neighborhood. The man suffered a minor head wound and was taken to Advocate Trinity Hospital. The boy died at the scene. Police currently have no suspects in custody. Heather Kruger will receive what she says is the best birthday present, a new liver. Chris Dempsey, a code enforcement law officer and former U.S. Marine from Frankfurt, will be giving the Tinley Park resident a piece of his liver a week before her 26th birthday on March 16th. Dempsey felt it was the right thing to do after he overheard his coworker talking about his ill cousin Kruger. "My family and I are extremely thankful. He is saving my life," said Kruger. Dempsey and his Marine buddies in the Leathernecks Motorcycle Club are hosting a fundraiser April 17th at Tinley Park VFW to help pay for Kruger's medical expenses. Illinois Congressman Aaron Schock has repaid the government $1,237 for a trip he took to Chicago Bears game. Schock initially charged the taxpayers for his trip. This now ups the money Congressman Schock has paid back to $41,237.
33-year-old Aaron Schock is one of the GOP's rising stars and top fundraisers, but his donors may not have known he would spend some of the millions he brought in on P90X exercise videos, a stay at a 5-star Greek hotel, and a professional photographer to capture his life on the go.
You know, it's clear that he likes to live a very lavish lifestyle.
Ann Wiseman runs Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, a left-leaning watchdog group that has filed 3 complaints in a month against Schock, claiming he improperly used campaign funds to fly on private planes and sold his Illinois townhouse to a top donor for an outsized profit.
The bulk of the money was to cover costs for the redecoration of his downtown Abbey House office in Washington.
Officials in Oakland, California have written to famous director George Lucas saying that they would be ready to take on the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art if the plans fall through in Chicago. Chicago stands at #1 for the museum site despite a lawsuit filed against Chicago Park District in November by Friends of the Parks, arguing that the site is part of Lake Michigan and remains a protected waterway. The museum is planned for a 17-acre lakefront site currently occupied by 2 parking lots south of Soldier Field. If the efforts move forward, the museum expects to open in 2018. Chicago police have announced arrests in connection with a series of burglaries. More than 40 businesses were targeted, netting the thieves more than $2 million in merchandise. Surveillance video recorded the thieves using stolen vehicles to crash into businesses before racing from the scene. Police say the 2-year-long crime spree was the work of gang members. Is a cemetery the ideal place to shop for groceries, and are humans the only ones being affected by the legalization of marijuana? Find out next.
By joining Hulu, you get to stream full seasons of hit TV shows from ABC, BET, CBS, Comedy Central, Fox, NBC, and MTV for free. Plus, you can watch current season shows on demand. With Hulu Plus, you can access all that wonderful content and even more from any device, anywhere, anytime, while streaming in full HD. Are your favorite shows like Family Guy, Saturday Night Live, Modern Family, and more, with over 1,600 TV shows and 2,500 movies, all for $7.99 a month. Much cheaper than the others out there. There's nothing to lose from joining Hulu Plus. Except if you don't sign up, then it's your loss on a great deal. You can sign up for Hulu Plus subscription at hulu.com and get all new episodes, new series premieres, full seasons, and access on all devices at hulu.com.
Workers digging underneath a French supermarket have made an unsettling discovery, as many as 200 skeletons. Monoprix, a grocery store in Paris, began doing renovations in January. Workers began removing an underground wall and discovered the bones. According to the French CNN affiliate BFM TV, the area was apparently part of a cemetery for the Hospital of the Trinity that operated from the 12th century to around the 17th century. The Supreme Court will hear arguments in the case challenging a central provision of President Barack Obama's signature health care law.
The stakes are very high because what happens here at the Supreme Court could impact at least 5 million Americans. And if the Supreme Court rules in favor of the plaintiffs, it could completely derail the Affordable Care Act. And here's why. It hinges on what many call the linchpin of Obamacare, subsidies for Americans who can't afford health insurance on their own.
Justices will focus on a single section of the law governing the establishment of so-called health exchanges. Wednesday's hearing will mark the third time that parts of the healthcare law have been challenged at the Supreme Court.
A rash of shootings in Texas over the weekend has led local law enforcement to appeal for gun safety. All shootings occurred within Harris County and involved children. In response to these tragedies, the Sheriff's Office and Harris County Constable Ron Hickman reminded the public that their offices distribute free gun locks. Federal agents raided more than 36 maternity hotels in Southern California where foreign women were allegedly giving birth for the sole purpose of having a U.S. citizen baby. The maternity tourism sites included apartment complexes in the counties of Los Angeles, Orange, and San Bernardino. Those targeted were women from China who paid $15,000 to $50,000 for lodging, transportation, and food, according to a statement by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
A 68-year-old Minnesota man saw his wife for the first time in a decade with the help of a bionic eye implant. Alan Zarad suffers from a degenerative eye disease called retinitis pigmentosa and has become the 15th person in the country to receive the second Sight Argus II retinal prosthesis system. It operates through a camera in Zarad's glasses, which sends information to the retinal implant, thus sending signals straight to the optic nerve. Zarad can't see details of people's faces, but can make out forms and shapes. He says that is more than enough to find the most beautiful one in the room, his wife. Vaccines are considered a standard part of owning a puppy. Recently,
I
some
set
owners
fires.
complaining that their
Best way
pets'
to
routine
decide
shots
is
are
to see your
harming their
veterinarian.
animals.
Best way to decide is to see your veterinarian and then get a customized assessment of which vaccines you need and which vaccines you don't need.
In a yearly visit, dogs receive a host of vaccines, which could potentially lead to overvaccination. These side effects jeopardize the pet's health, causing everything from swelling to autoimmune disorders and more. Vets say that vaccines are vitally important, but owners are still questioning how much is too much when it comes to vaccinating their companion.
Police have arrested more than 500 parents in and around the northwestern Pakistani city of Peshawar for not allowing their children to get the polio vaccine. Those arrested will be released on bail if they sign an affidavit stating they will let their children be vaccinated. An Indian court has banned the publication of an interview with a convicted rapist who blamed his victim and said she should just be silent and allow the rape. The woman, who was attacked by 5 men on a public bus in 2012, later died from her injuries. No channel beaming into India, local or foreign, can air it, nor can it be published. Mexican authorities have captured Omar Trevino Morales, the reputed leader of the Zetas drug cartel. Trevino was arrested near Monterrey, Mexico. Reports of violence, corruption, and extortion continue to flow from despite his capture. But while certain cartels have been weakened, critics are quick to point out that the criminal organizations survive and new leaders will rise.
Using earth-moving equipment and a gentle touch, rescuers and animal experts are expected to be working through the night to rescue 15 manatees discovered in the Satellite Beach storm drain system Monday afternoon. Manatees are known to congregate in beachside canals when the water temperature in the lagoon plunges. Central Florida's recent cold snap drove water temperatures down to near dangerous levels for the warm water-loving creatures. Stoned rabbits could be a serious consequence for Utah if the use of medical marijuana is legalized in the state. Special Agent Matt Fairbanks told a Utah Senate panel that the creatures may develop a taste for the plant if it is grown on a mass scale. Fairbanks' experience does not claim that there is a serious risk to creating a drug-addicted segment of the rabbit population. The universe says goodbye to a man who lived long and prospered. Saturday Night celebrates 40 with style, and Kelly Clarkson is in a war of words. Find out with whom after the break.
I set fires to feel joy. It puts the lotion on its skin. Oh, you're having a bad day? Did you die? Do you want to see a dead body?
You're disturbing when you're hungry. Here, have a Snickers. Better?
Better.
Caramel. Chocolate coating. Packed with peanuts. Nougat. Snickers really satisfies.
You're not yourself when you're hungry. Have a Snickers. Nothing else can fulfill you faster during your busy day. Hungry? Why wait? Grab a Snickers and be satisfied.
Today, I'd like to talk to you about a phobia, and the phobia is called coulrophobia. Coulrophobia is the fear of clowns. Yes, clowns. Yes, coulrophobia is the fear of clowns. And my brother is Ronald McDonald, and I want you to send all your money to your local Ronald McDonald house right now, and don't make us clowns mad, or we will come after you.
I'm Valerie Mena with your latest entertainment scoop. After becoming the first plus-size model to score a major contract, Tess Holliday was revealed to be the face of Torrid's Spring 2015 fashion campaign. She refuses to have her images photoshopped or retouched in any way. This refusal is a perfect complement to the Rising Models #FYourBeautyStandards campaign, a movement that she started via Instagram in 2013, encouraging both men and women to embrace their body. Leonard Nimoy, famously known for his portrayal as Star Trek's Officer Spock, has died at the age of 83. Nimoy's career spanned more than 6 decades and included stints as a stage actor, television guest star, series regular, and movie veteran. He also directed a handful of films, including the box office hit 3 Men and a Baby in 1987. He was a singer, a published poet, and an accomplished photographer. However, the native of planet Vulcan remains as his lasting claim to fame. Nimoy brought a much-needed humor to the character with selectively raised eyebrows and a deadpan delivery, and quickly became a favorite among the Trekkies. The funeral will be held March 3rd. On October 11, 1975, Saturday Night Live was first beamed into living rooms. SNL celebrated 40 years on Sunday, February 15th.
I set fires.
The night's big hit, Eddie Murphy being greeted like returning royalty with an introductory tribute from Chris Rock that lasted much longer than Murphy's actual appearance. Murphy said a little more than thanks. After all his build-up, his participation was an epic fail.
This show is such a big part of who I am in my life, and I'm so happy to be back here, and it's just a magical feeling. Actually, it feels like going back to my old high school, kind of, and it's a good feeling.
It was one of the biggest disappointments in a very long time, but most retrospective of TV's great comedy institution. Kelly Clarkson, who gave birth to her first child, River Rose, in June last year, appeared on the British TV program The Graham Norton Show this past February. Renowned criticizer Katie Hopkins, known as the most hated woman in Britain, owned up to her title, bashing the singer's appearance on Twitter. Jesus, what happened to Kelly Clarkson? Did she eat up all her backup singers? Despite the nasty comments, Clarkson had an amazing comeback for the British TV personality. Say what you will, I'm awesome. Chris Brown is reportedly the father of a 9-month-old baby girl, according to a shocking new report. The 25-year-old singer allegedly had a baby with a 31-year-old model named Nia, who is obviously not his girlfriend, Karrueche Tran. The two have been friends for several years. However, Tran decided that wasn't acceptable and called it quits with Brown for good. I'm Valerie Mena with the latest scoop in entertainment. Next, blockbuster trades going down in the NFL, plus spring training baseball highlights. Stay tuned.
The signs are there. Take a stand. Speak out on domestic violence.
Hey, haven't heard from you in a couple hours. Give me a call, let me know if you're okay. Bye.
Westbrook did it again. The All-Star Game MVP set career highs with 49 points and 16 rebounds, with an added 10 assists for his 4th consecutive triple-double, helping the Oklahoma City Thunder defeat the Philadelphia 76ers 123-118 overtime in Wednesday night.
Being aggressive, that was getting me my shots, and I was just taking them and concentrating on making them.
Kevin said they were giving you that shot. And when you see guys giving it to you to the point now where you're comfortable taking it, you're going to make them pay for giving it to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a make. I mean, I got to shoot it with confidence. I shoot the ball with confidence.
Westbrook will attempt his 5th triple-double against the Bulls Thursday night. Trades aren't made often in the NFL, but a major one was consummated between the Buffalo Bills and the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles have agreed to trade running back LaShawn McCoy to the Bills for linebacker Kiko Alonso. McCoy, who finished with 1,300 rushing yards in 2014, joins a Bills team that hasn't made the playoffs since 1999, while Alonso reunites with his former college coach at Oregon, Chip Kelly. The Bills weren't done making moves, as they acquired quarterback Matt Castle from the Minnesota Vikings. The Bills sent 2 undisclosed draft picks to Minnesota to acquire the journeyman signal caller. Last season with Minnesota, Castle appeared in 3 games before suffering a foot injury in the 3rd game, ending his season. Castle is expected to compete with E.J. Manuel for the starting position. Denver Broncos quarterback Peyton Manning will return for his 18th season in 2015. Reports out of Denver say Manning is restructuring his contract for the upcoming season, which will save Denver $4 million. He will now earn $15 million this upcoming season. With the NFL draft approaching, Florida State quarterback and potential #1 overall pick Jameis Winston addressed the media regarding his off-the-field behavior.
But my job as a quarterback is to be the face of a franchise, and any franchise that is, and I got to do that, and my job is to win games and hopefully win Super Bowls, and I know that that's a big responsibility. This is a job up here, and whatever behind me is behind me, so it's a new face.
Winston won the Heisman Trophy as a freshman and led the Seminoles to the national championship the same season. This past year, Winston quarterbacked the Seminoles into the first ever college football playoffs, but fell to Oregon in the Final Four. The White Sox kicked off spring training against their roommates from Camelback Ranch, the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Sox came out on top 6-4.
But my job as a quarterback is to be the face of a franchise.
And Brad Penny looked impressive, combining to pitch 4 innings and striking out 6. The Sox continue Cactus play tomorrow against the Rangers. And that has been your sports update. I'm Ashley McClintock.
From all of us at ICB News, thanks for watching.